You want to disagree with me on
Yes, yes.
Advaita?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
go on, make your
I
point.
don't disagree with you on everything, but only on
Huh?
Advaita. Like, I mean, I
Okay.
like the other videos, but
Hmm.
here. So actually, I saw one of your videos. I think you uploaded one of the videos on YouTube
Hmm.
regarding Advaita, and there was other person who was discussing about it.
Hmm.
And so I saw the whole video, and I thought, like, I mean, because there were few things which were like very, very, I would say, very I mean, out of context,
Hmm.
and few things were there like which were like misunderstood maybe.
Okay, let's start from scratch. I don't remember that call. So whatever your
Oh,
point is, make it from scratch.
okay, okay, sure, sure. So first of all, I would like to know from you, like, from where did you read about, I mean, Advaita. By Advaita, I mean the Advaita Vedanta school of Hinduism,
Hmm.
right? Yeah. So from
I
where did you?
understand Advaita on a very basic level to say that it is the philosophy of non dualism, which
Mhm,
means that there is no two consciousnesses, it's just one consciousness throughout the
mhm,
universe. And
mhm.
it's not even like the universe itself is consciousness or something, but different people have different definitions. So, why don't
Yeah,
you tell me your definition of it and then we can talk?
yeah, yeah. I'll sure tell you my definition, but I wanted to know about you, like, from where did you study Advaita? Like, do you study any books, or like did you read by
Yeah,
yourself?
some books, yeah.
Okay, and were they like traditional books or like written by some other authors who were like? So
I
why
have
I'm saying this
no
is
remember.
okay,
I
okay,
told you what I understand it to be. I don't remember which books they were,
okay.
but I think we can start from scratch, as I said.
Sure, sure.
You
So
can tell
actually,
me.
yeah.
You can tell me what Advaita is. I can tell you if I disagree with your definition. I clearly disagreed with his definition.
Okay.
So why don't you start?
Yeah, sure, sure. So, like in the Advaita Vedanta, it talks about, as you mentioned, it talks about one consciousness, right?
Hmm.
But in the previous video which you uploaded, there you were like misunderstanding consciousness with mind, because in that video you said that it is one mind who is imagining the dream.
Huh,
So,
I guess
but
so.
in Advaita Vedanta,
Hmm.
what they are referring to, it's not the mind. I mean, generally in the Western like books, or I've come across, they kind of
Hmm.
mix consciousness and mind. But in the Advaita, mind and consciousness are, I mean, understood differently. So when they say,
Are you saying consciousness and mind are different? Or are you saying Advaita says that consciousness and mind are different?
yes, Advaita says consciousness and mind are different, but
Do you
generally
do
people
you think
mix.
that is do you think there is good reason to believe that?
No, no, I'm not saying whether it is good to believe that or not, but I'm saying that this is what Advaita says, and but
Hmm.
I think you mixed up consciousness and mind, so that means I mean,
That
you,
person that person did not object to it. You're objecting to it.
yeah,
I'm
actually, that person did not
I would
object.
request again. I would
Yeah.
request again that we have this conversation as this conversation instead of
Mhm.
referring to some past conversation that I don't even remember and people have no access to.
No, yeah, you're true, but my basically understanding is like, I mean, you kind of mixed two terms, so I thought that I mean, you don't have much idea about Advaita, but like still you're
I
commenting
don't
on
think I mixed two terms. I
it.
said that I may have said that, and I think this is still my view that
Mhm,
we don't know of any examples of consciousness
mhm,
existing without minds.
mhm,
Therefore, when someone says that the universe is consciousness, I have to conclude that they're saying that the universe is a mind,
mhm. Yeah.
right?
Okay. That could be one point of view. Okay. And
Mhm.
I don't. I mean,
That's my
neither.
point of view.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
neither
point
way.
of view, and it's
Mhm.
the reason why I equated the two. So, do you have a problem with that?
Okay. So let's start like one by one. So when we say, like, in neuroscience, when we say that so as I understand, you are saying that consciousness is something generated by the brain. So, and you're also
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we do not know of consciousness existing without a mind. Do we
without,
know that?
by mind, what do you mean, like the brain, or?
The brain, living beings, conscious creatures and stuff, yeah.
Okay, but how do we know? So if they always come together, brain and consciousness, so how
Hmm.
do we know that brain generates consciousness?
Because we have a definition of consciousness, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And when the brain stops working, there is no consciousness.
Agree, but for example, I will give you an example. For example, there is a tap in the what do we call the water tank, right?
Hmm.
And if the tap breaks, the water will not come out. Or if we open the tap, the water comes out. That does not mean the tap is producing the water, right? So do you get the
Well,
example?
I
I
see
mean,
the
so
tank and
basically
the
we are
tap are
talking
things.
taking
The tank,
correlation to
listen, listen,
causation.
listen, listen,
Yeah,
listen, listen.
yeah, yes, yes,
Let me address the thing that you said.
yes, yes, yes.
We know what a tank is. We know what a tap is. We
Right,
know that when the tap breaks, the water is still there, right?
right, right,
We don't know that about consciousness. All we
right,
know is that there is a brain that is conscious, and then the
right,
brain dies, the
right,
consciousness stops. There is
right,
no reason to think that the consciousness has simply been cut off.
right, right. So, but so basically, you are saying that brain generating consciousness is like a calculated belief, but we are not sure of. It's just a correlation.
I'm
So
saying
we
it
have,
is all we know.
yeah, it
There
is
is
all
no
we know.
reason to think that we know more than that.
Okay, so basically, you are taking the agnostic position to be like the true position.
I'm taking the agnostic position and saying that we don't know anything more than that. This is all we know, and there
Mhm.
is no reason to think that there is something more than that, except speculation, perhaps.
Okay, so but I want to understand, like, I mean, I don't have much idea about that, but since you are a scholar, do we really know that brain generates consciousness? Is it proven, or like is it just like theories?
What we know right now is that, like, I'm obviously not a neuroscientist. Are you? Are you one?
No, no, no. I'm not a neuroscientist, but I'm just like
Yeah.
watching
So on the
YouTube
very
videos.
base level, on the
Yeah,
very
yeah.
base level,
Mm-hmm.
I think what we know right now is
Mm-hmm.
that consciousness is inextricably linked to the brain. If
Okay. Yes.
consciousness goes, the brain
Yes.
does not go. We go unconscious every night when we sleep, right? The brain is still there, it works.
Mm.
But when the brain goes, consciousness does not come back. So logically, it seems like consciousness is more dependent on the brain than
Okay.
brain is on consciousness.
Okay. But tell me one thing in this argument. So when you say when consciousness go, brain does not go. But how do
Mhm.
you know that the brain did not go?
It's still there, right? When I wake up in the morning, my brain is still there.
But how do you know that? That's what I'm asking.
The brain is a part of my body and it has not gone anywhere. It's still in my head, right? It works.
But then how do I mean I'm not getting how did you know that the consciousness go and the brain did not go?
How do I know that the brain did not go?
Basically, basically.
Are you saying when I go to sleep, are you
Mhm.
saying that when we go to sleep, our brain leaves our body?
No, no, no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm
Then,
saying to notice any change, right? To notice any change, we need
hmm,
consciousness, right?
hmm,
Or to notice nothing, we need consciousness.
you can observe someone else sleeping, right? You
We
can
can,
observe someone else when they're asleep and you
yeah,
can scan their brain and see that there is still brain activity.
yeah, true. But
So
how?
the brain is there. They're unconscious, but the
Yeah,
brain is there.
right. But how can you say whether consciousness is there or not?
They're unconscious. That's the definition of a consciousness. Like
No,
going
but
to
how
sleep
can
means you're
we say that they
unconscious.
are unconscious? Only that person who is feeling, he can tell whether I'm
Listen,
conscious,
Varun,
right?
sorry, Vipan,
Yeah,
this is becoming a word game now.
yeah, yeah.
We have a definition of what being unconscious means.
Mhm.
Do you think it applies to someone who's asleep?
I would say that the right person to answer this, whether I was unconscious or not, is the person who is sleeping.
No, no,
Actually,
answer my question.
yeah.
The definition of the word unconscious, does it
Mhm.
apply to someone who is asleep or behosh?
The present definition, I would say yes, because
That's
this
all we have. That's
right.
all we have. We don't have anything else.
Okay, but
So,
yeah,
go on.
yeah. Okay, but here is what I mean, here is where I have different opinion, or what the Advaita has different opinion. So it
Mhm.
says from the point of view of the person who is sleeping, right? So it is like experience of something is an experience, and experience of nothing is also an experience. So
They're experiencing something. They may be dreaming and stuff, but it's
yeah,
not
they may be
conscious
dreaming, but there
experience,
is when there is no brain activity, right? When there are no thoughts, that from the
which
point of
is
view,
death.
no, basically like when sometimes when we go into deep sleep, right? When there are
Hmm.
very, I mean, no zero thoughts, like them when we say, I mean,
I
from my,
wouldn't be so sure about. See, again, this is
Mhm.
where the neuroscience bit comes in. You're not an
Okay,
expert. I'm not an expert.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would say that brain activity ceases when we are
Hmm.
dead. When we
Hmm.
are asleep, there is brain activity, but it's not conscious.
Uh, okay, so let me rephrase the question. Can you tell me whether I am conscious or not?
Well, I have met conscious people before, and you seem to be conscious.
Yeah, but let's say I went to sleep, okay?
Hmm.
And then you will measure something and put on my brain, and then you will measure the activities, right? and
Hmm.
you will kind of correlate, okay, there is no brain activity, it doesn't seem to, he doesn't seem to be conscious, right? That's what
There
the
is
conclusion.
there would be some activity, right?
Yeah, even if there would be, so how, so that's what my question is, how will you
There would
conclude
be some
whether.
activity. If you go to sleep and I put a CT scanner on you, there will be some activity in your brain. There will
Mhm,
be other parts of your body which will also be giving me indications that you're alive, if not
mhm,
conscious, like your
mhm,
heart, your
mhm,
pulse, your blood flow, and everything else. So
mhm.
I will be able to say whether you're conscious or not.
Okay, okay, fine. But then what is the example of non-consciousness? Like in coma, would you consider that as non-conscious?
I suppose so. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take the example of coma. Okay, let's say I
Hmm.
went to the coma and you put some let's say some instruments on my brain and you recording everything and you claim that I am not conscious. Okay, now here is what my point is. So I am saying that, are you saying that if I see some activity in the brain, then
Hmm.
that means there is consciousness? So basically, I, so from the previous experiments, I know that whenever there is brain activity, there is
No,
consciousness.
I'm
It's a
not saying
correlation.
that. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that. I'm literally telling you that when
Mm-hmm.
you're unconscious, you're
Mm-hmm.
not conscious by definition.
Yeah, but I want to know the example. I mean, what would you call unconscious? So basically, what I'm saying is that
I would call it
we
unconscious.
we are
So maybe I'm failing to understand the question. Could you repeat it?
yeah. So basically, my saying is that we are taking correlation to be causation. So basically, what we are saying, that if there
Well,
is,
listen.
yeah.
We are not taking correlation to be causation. We are saying that there is a serious correlation.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not it implies causation is out for debate. But
Mm-hmm.
on the basis of everything we know right now, it
Mm-hmm.
seems to be the case.
It seems to be causation.
Yes, because if you destroy the brain, you stop
Okay.
being conscious.
But that's not a correct argument, isn't it? Like, if you,
Why
maybe
not?
brain is a channel through which consciousness is channelized. So if brain is,
Maybe, but that's a maybe. That's
yeah,
speculation.
so that's what I'm saying. They both are positioned.
Speculate away. I speculate all the time. Speculation is fine.
Yeah.
It's
So
philosophy, right? You speculate. That's
okay.
okay.
So
But
now I
I'm
got the
talking
point.
about things that we know.
Okay.
We
I got your
know
point. Okay.
very few things. Everything else is speculation.
Okay. I got your point. So
Yeah.
basically, the current understanding is there is correlation, but you are
Mhm.
saying that the brain is generating consciousness. But this is what your viewpoint is. But
On the basis of all the evidence that we
on the
have
basis
right
of all
now,
the evidence
yes.
which we have right now. Okay.
Yes.
But the position of Advaita here is that it's not like that. That the brain
I
is
know.
generating.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's what I disagree with it because it's
Yeah.
speculation.
So I would say, since we don't know right now, like both the situation is correct or not, unless the neuroscience proves that it is the brain generating consciousness, we cannot say it is speculation, right?
No, we can say it's speculation because it's based on things that we don't know for sure. If you are saying
Yeah.
something is the case without
Mhm.
having the information to base it on, you're
Mhm.
speculating. I'm
Yeah.
not speculating when I say that if you destroy the brain, you stop being conscious. You
Mhm.
are saying maybe it is not conscious, and that's okay. You're speculating, but one of them is not speculation and the other is.
Okay. So the other is not speculation. Why? I'll give you the reason.
Mhm,
Because, so if you take your own experience, for example,
mhm,
right, because Advaita is mostly like, it's not about like philosophy or some that kind of thing, right? So it's more of, yeah, taking your experience and rationalizing your experience, thinking about it, how I go through my life. That's what Advaita is. It's not a pure philosophy. So basically, so if we look at our own experience, right, now, since we are conscious right now, right, we can
mhm,
clearly say that we are conscious right now. So when we go to sleep, like we dream about the world, at that
mhm.
point also we are conscious about the dream, right? We feel the conscious.
We do not describe that as consciousness. We
Mhm.
describe that as unconsciousness. You
So
can
the
have
dream.
experiences.
Mhm.
You can have experiences when you're unconscious, but they're not conscious experiences.
Oh, is it? Then there is a very, linguistic difference between, I would say.
Yeah, which is why I said earlier that we may be just quibbling about words.
Oh, okay, okay. Then I don't know. Then Advaita is like saying things completely different from this, actually, because in Advaita, so as consciousness is defined as, it's not about like one particular thing, like it is generating in one particular brain point or not. It is
Mhm.
described as the background of the brain or the mind in which the brain mind functions. So
So the
basically,
mind, when you say mind, what do you mean? Do you mean something different than the brain?
yes.
What is it then? Tell me what it is.
So this is now we are leaping into, like, this is how, I mean, it's not, I don't, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm 100% correct here, but that's what I believe on, based on my rational understanding. So I might be wrong, but I'll just put my point forth. So
Mhm.
basically what I'm saying is, like, so have you heard of the hard problem of consciousness?
Yeah,
Yeah, so basically I'm saying that brain and everything is made up of atoms and small small molecules, right?
yeah, yeah.
But when we look at our own experience, we see a different, like a whole kind of we don't feel neuro, the current or neurotransmitter which which we go in the brain, right? We see a whole movie, like every new experience. So my
Mhm.
question is, when everything is physical, the brain is physical, body is physical, everything is physical, how can
Mhm.
it generate a subjective experience? So there I see a category error, like objective world generating a subjective experience. I'm not able to understand how is
The
that
fact
possible.
that you're Vipan, I hope you will pay some attention to the fact that
Yes, yes.
if you observe that there is a category difference, that is
Mm-hmm.
also subjective,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So we don't understand enough about it in order to come to any tangible conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
I am conscientiously limiting myself to what we know. You
Okay.
are speculating a little bit, which is okay. There's no problem with it. As
Mm-hmm.
long as you don't make the mistake of, as long as you, maybe mistake is not the right word, as long
Mm-hmm.
as you don't make the jump from there to considering it a reality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough to jump to those conclusions. I don't think you do either.
Okay.
So maybe we can just stop here. We can just say, okay, we have a brain and
Mm-hmm.
we are conscious. If
Mm-hmm.
the brain gets destroyed, we stop being conscious. So the brain obviously is at least what consciousness is contingent upon. We have
Mm-hmm.
no evidence of consciousness existing without the brain.
Mm-hmm.
We have no examples of consciousness existing in things that don't have brains.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is where we can stop, right? It makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Okay, okay. But okay, okay, that is also, I mean, fine with me. But I was,
Okay.
yeah, I was trying to understand your viewpoint. I mean, what do you think, like, I mean, objective world creating the subjective experience? How is that possible? Or is it like things we are still exploring? What is
Uh,
your
my
viewpoint?
my view on that is that people think that the objective world and the subjective experiences are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but when they express that disbelief, that's
Mm-hmm.
also a subjective thing.
That's
You see my
also,
point?
no, no, I didn't get it actually.
You think that the objective world is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have sense organs through which we observe the objective world, and we
Right,
come to certain conclusions about it.
right.
We have had a few thousand years of civilization during which we have wondered about these things. And
Okay.
now, after a lot of thought, why now? Some time ago, after a lot
Mm-hmm.
of thought, we started wondering how is it possible? Our incredulity,
Mm-hmm.
our lack of understanding of how this strange process works has
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with the fact that the process works.
Mm-hmm.
Reality isn't going anywhere, our brain isn't going anywhere. We are here, reality is here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in some time we will figure out something astounding, but right
Okay.
now there is no reason to think about it.
Okay. Okay.
I will leave it to the neuroscientist whose job it is to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, true. Obviously, the
That's my
neuroscientists.
position. That's my position. I'm comfortable with saying I don't know. I know
Oh,
this much, and beyond this, I don't know. So I will say I don't know.